Good morning, traders. Today is Monday, November 29th. My name is Charles, and this is the Pirate Traders live stream. Okay, so what are we looking at here today? So the overnight obviously had a giant counter auction to the upside. I call it a counter auction. Normally that's what we would call what we get first thing in the morning, but I call it a counter auction because essentially what happened on Friday was the market just got itself way too short. Okay, even if the market is going to have a larger pullback here, that was far too violent of a move to the downside. So it needed, if you go back, you can actually see I tweeted at like 3 a.m. on Friday that the market needed to have a short covering rally to absorb some of that downward auction, and that's what we got yesterday and this morning. We can tell that from the P shape of the overnight profile. So if you look at the shape of the profile right here, you can see it kind of looks like a P. That just shows us that is more short covering and less new money buying. It's also interesting that they did most of their business in almost the same area that they did the night that they had the massive sell-off. So this isn't as bullish as one might think. It's really just absorbing all the shorts that got themselves short in here and then had to take their profits down lower, pulling us back up into here. We were also pretty close to opening above yesterday's range. If we open above yesterday's range, we will have a gap up from yesterday inside the gap down from Friday. So a gap inside a gap, that's fun. I would say if we do open above yesterday's high, the first gap to fill will be the gap down to yesterday's high as a counter auction to the overnight inventory. And then if the market finds support around yesterday's high, the next target becomes filling the gap left behind on Friday. Okay. All in all, as far as what to expect here today, this could still be, like I said, this could still be bearish. It is not often that we dip below the 20 moving average on the daily and then don't head down to the 50. It does happen, and when it does, this is how it happens. It immediately pulls right back above the next day, but usually we have to head down to that 50 and test that. So yesterday's high will be a really big deal or no deal level for us in the market this morning when we open. Do we find support around here? If so, we can continue higher, but if not, we might still have a lot of selling ahead of us. So potential supports to watch for today once the market opens. First and foremost is going to be this node of volume, right where the overnight spent a bunch of time. And I mean, literally, I know this is ridiculous to say, but like we can find support anywhere in here. The largest volume area is going to be right in here. So call that like 46.32 to 46.27-ish. That's the first potential support. Looking for continuation higher. If that fails, I would say half back from Friday is a good potential support. So that's 46.10.25. And then obviously anywhere inside where we spent a bunch of volume and time on Friday, that could also act as support. Okay. We did have a spike down on Friday, and spike rules are in play. Opening above a spike down is the most bullish scenario. So that is bullish to see. So if you put a gun to my head right now, I think we trade higher today. So it does look like we're going to open with a gap. So the first target is filling the gap from tonight. Then if we find support around yesterday's high, turning around to fill the gap left behind by Friday. Okay. I wanted to start a few minutes early today so I could replay Friday. I don't know if we're going to have time, and this might cause my computer to freak out. But let's just replay Friday really quickly. We'll play it at like 60x, the normal speed. And just kind of watch how it plays out. Just because I wasn't watching the market on Friday after the first hour. So obviously massive fear. Very volatile, large range. Okay, so the market one time framing into the D period. Again, if you're just joining us, I'm rewatching Friday's trade. Just because I wasn't in front of the chart, and I just want to see how it played out. Okay, cessation of one time framing pretty early on there that day, so not a super strong trend to the downside. Okay, they made a weak high there, weak G period high. So the sellers were short-term traders. They were successful though. There's your spike down. All right, well, I'm going to call it quits there because the market's about to open. But there you go. You got weak hands selling this market. Weak hands in H period as well. So that would explain why the market reversed over the weekend. Okay, so we're back to the live charts. And the market is open. So we do have the gap up. The first target would be the gap fill. Internals are opening very bullish because of that overnight inventory being net long. But we'll give them some time to settle. So if the market continues to push higher, the target to the upside is the filling of the gap from Friday, which was a gap down. But if at any point they find resistance and turn around and come down, then the target becomes the gap fill from yesterday. I'm sorry, from the overnight here, which gets us back to yesterday's high, and then we look for support there. Good morning, David. Good to see you. Welcome. Scooball, hello to you. Diego, good morning. Alexander, good morning to you. Nicholas, good to see you. Philip, welcome. Mediterra, feeling bullish, thinking we're going to 46.76. Vincent, good morning to you. J Trader, good to see you. Oh, James, did I freak you out when you saw the market shooting up and down? My bad. Yeah, I was replaying Friday. All right, so here's the gap fill. So we're looking for the market to get to yesterday's high, and then does it find support there? If it does not, we're looking for further downside continuation. If it can find support, literally right now in this area, we would expect for it to turn around and head back up to try to fill the gap from Friday. Okay, doesn't seem to be finding any support. So we're probably going to get some further downside continuation here. Value is higher. Potential support is going to happen right around where these blue candles are from the overnight, somewhere between, say, 33 and 29. If that can't hold, we're heading back down into the value area from yesterday's range, which is down there around 46.12-ish. But plenty of room to find support before then. Remember that when the overnight is 100% net long, as it was, most of the participants are long, right? They had to have been to get the market all the way up to there. So those participants have to take profits. And that's not really telling us anything about what the market might do throughout the rest of the day. It's just them getting out of their long trades. Putting the market on discount a little bit, giving new buyers a chance to step in. Arthur, good morning to you. Good to see you. David V, good morning to you. Peter, back with us. Hello. Cotton Dog, good to see you. Design Knob in the house. Welcome. Alexander, I forgot to mention you're my friend from Belarus. Well, you used an English name this time, so I didn't know it was you. Arthur made a mistake of trading on Friday when market resumed. It dropped second half of day. I lost. Yeah, I mean, you want to always have a tight stop when the market's got that kind of volatility that it had on Friday. You don't want to get caught on the wrong side of a trade. To Memphis, hello to you. Jose, good to see you. Sanju, good morning. Alexander. You could always switch back to your name in a different language. It's your work computer versus your home computer, right? If I remember correctly. All right, so here's the support beginning to step in. Let's see what they got. At this point, if they can get back above yesterday's high, get back above Friday's high, I'd be looking for the gap fill to the upside. Got good taper on the low. So that doesn't mean this has to be the low of the day. but that if it was, it'd be a good low. Okay, not quite strong enough support just yet. Miles cross back through open, not bearish. Um, Not bearish. I mean, it was bearish on the short term, right? It was a sign that we needed to fill the gap. So that was bearish. It was bearish from there to there for sure. But then the question becomes, will we find support at yesterday's high? Failing to find support there was bearish for a pullback further. So this is our next potential support area down here. And it'll be bearish if we get through that as well. But if you're asking why I haven't changed the sign at the bottom of the screen to say bearish, is because I'm not bearish on the day just yet. I think this is just a counter auction to the overnight. So that is, so many people went long in the overnight, they're taking profits now. And so I need to wait for the internals to have some time to kind of absorb this move before they can give me a clear signal of whether our market, the regular trading hours, is bullish or bearish today. Because for all I know, there could be lots of buyers stepping in here with good, strong hands. And it looks bearish, but as soon as it gets back above yesterday's high, boom, like a rocket ship, it takes off and never comes back down here. So I'm not bearish yet. I think we're just absorbing that overnight activity. Design knob, the deer are battling. Let's go over and take a look at the NQ. Let's see what the deer are doing this morning. All right, so they're overnight. The NQ's overnight, exactly the same as the ES, was a P-shaped profile. So it's a sign of short covering, less new money buying. They didn't have a gap, so it's not quite as bullish. They got good taper on the low, though. Back to the ES. Nunez, on days like that, do you find yourself trading less, looking for things to calm down? Yeah. I only ever get in a trade if I have confidence in it. If the market is moving very, very quickly with a lot of volatility, I don't generally have any confidence. So I just step aside and wait. And it's frustrating, right? Because you see how far the market is moving and you think, man, if I would have been in a short or I would have been in a long, look at all the money I would have made. But over time, you learn to switch that off. Like, you just, through experience, you just learn that it doesn't matter. Like, missing a trade doesn't matter. Missing a chance to make money doesn't matter. What matters is protecting the capital that you have. And so if you don't have certainty in a position, just don't get in. That's something that comes with time. Trading Donkey, BTC up 3,000 and crude up 450. If you're bearish here, maybe just sit this one out. I find it very interesting that you're using BTC as a signal for the stock market. I've never known that to be reliable at all. There's times when they move together and there's times where they move completely opposite of each other. Yeah, I mean the risk sentiment is a fair argument. Let's take a look and see. All right, we're finding support again. Getting above yesterday's high would be bullish for continuation to fill the gap. But let's just play this game with Donkey real quick and see if there's any correlation. Let's put BTC on top. Yeah, let's put Coinbase on top. Yeah, see, that might fool you into thinking that there are correlations when there are not. It does seem like it matches up in certain moments. Who knows? All right, well, no support to be found there. Market continuing to push lower, starting to get below that zero line. So that is a sign of new sellers piling on. That would be more than just the overnight inventory taking profits. Okay, this is the last little bit of support down here around 27. If that doesn't hold, we're likely heading down into yesterday's, our Friday's value area, down here in the 15s. So if this market's going to turn around, this is the spot where it needs to do it. Okay, so far they're buying the dips. They're keeping it above that zero line on the ticks by the skin of their teeth. So now will this support from earlier that we had started building in here, does that become resistance? If so, we're looking for another push lower. If they can get back above it, it should be good support for continuation higher. Oh man, that was quick. All right, it was resistance. NQ back up in that area right now as well. The support that is now acting as resistance. Fausto saying it's a dead cat bounce. He's waiting for the market to go lower. Cotton Dog, internals turned bearish. Mediterra saying he's looking for support at 46.21. Two Manifs saying that he's looking at a rotation into gold. Rotation into gold. Maybe. I mean, gold's just kind of, it's still trending down. But yeah, it's getting a little bit of volume over the last few days. Salmon River, he feels like the internals are just representing a counter auction and not bearish. I can see that, unless they keep those ticks below the zero line. That's new sellers stepping in. Claudia, I think it'll go up. Well, if it does, we got good taper on that low. So if they can get back above this node here, we can probably head up and try to fill that gap from Friday. Obviously, we want to see it get above and come back down and find support. But it's still working as resistance at the moment. NQ looks like it's ready to break out above that resistance. Yes, sir. So NQ also has a gap from Friday that needs to be backfilled. Ooh, no, it doesn't. Okay, yeah, so this day I'm going to ignore because that was Thanksgiving, so who cares? So actually it didn't gap down on Friday. It opened inside the previous day's range. Okay, so there's no gap fill on the Q, but it's still finding support. Skewball, I'm bullish. We're getting buyers. Yes, we are. Can they work their way through this resistance? Okay, it's happening as I say it. There they go. Mike need a girlfriend. Probably only get halfway into it. I don't think GF means what I think it means. Salmon River, NQ needs to get to the prior high of the day, in his opinion. Well, it's a few ticks away. There it goes. They're buying tech, that's for sure. So what you want to see now is you want to see them get above yesterday's high, above Friday's high, and then come back down and build some support in there for continuation higher. Back to the ES. Still can't get through that resistance, not yet. Oh, Mike, GF is gap fill. Okay, that makes more sense. Saying you need a girlfriend, but you'll only probably get halfway in. That's much more confusing. Gap fill makes a lot more sense. Arthur, all because of this new COVID variant? I assume you mean the sell off? Yeah, pretty much. That seems like that's what triggered it. It was also breaking out of a balancing area. When you break out of a balancing area to the downside, balance always leads to excess. So you tend to get a larger move in whichever direction you break out. So the two in combination were what caused the sell off. They're trying to break through that resistance. The buyers are stepping in. Can they do it? There they go. All right, so now we'll look for this same node right around the halfback here at 46.39. We'll look for that to start acting as support. So now they got above it. Do they start to come in and find support here? If so, we're looking for continuation higher. And getting above yesterday's high increases the odds we're going to try to fill that gap. Mike's comments make a lot of sense. We've seen the stats that half gap fills happen 86% of the time. Ooh, that kind of almost was a half gap fill. Pretty close. So let's see what happens. Okay, so that was the pull back down into support, and that what was resistance just became support. That is bullish. Testing it again. Whew, roller coaster. Big moment here for the market. Buyers got to step in and hold this, or we're going to pull back down towards these A period lows pretty quickly. So far, so good with the NQ. If it can hold it up here, it looks like a trending day. You know, volume node, push higher, volume node, push higher. Value is higher. Market's one time framing higher. I would say look for support on a pullback to the halfback at about 16,264. ES, though, ain't got it. Ain't got the buyers just yet. Got to put the market on discount again. Cotton Dog, does the value area not carry as much weight early in the session? That's a great question. The value area carries the most weight at the end of the session. Once the day is closed, wherever the value area is at the end of the day, that is the most valuable, the most valuable way to look at value. Is like sort of how it ends up at the end of the day. But during the day, including right at the open, you can use it as a tool to recognize the strength or weakness of the market. So, for example, today it opened higher, value was higher. If we start to sell off and we don't find support, you know, right in this node of volume right here, we're very likely the market will continue back down into the value area from Friday. And if it does that and it spends some time down there, we'll see this value area slowly it'll expand, you know, larger and lower. And as we see that, that is a sign that the value of the market is coming down. And so we probably want to continue to do business lower. But yeah, during the day, throughout the session, you're really doing a lot of guessing with value. Where is it going to end up? What is it going to do? It doesn't give you a clear signal until the day closes. Or, of course, if the day goes rotational, it gives you a clear signal of sort of where most of the business is going to take place. But this early in the morning, it's not giving you much. It is bullish, though, to see that value is higher. That just doesn't mean they can't sell off back down into yesterday's value. All right, guys. Well, the internals are telling me this market needs to pull back. They're trying. They're trying to buy this area up, but internals are trending down across the boards. So I don't think they have enough buyers here. I think they're going to need to pull back. David V, I'm wondering if the fact that early gains on main indices are dwindling is having an effect on the ES. Um, so I assume you mean like the Russell and the Dow and the NQ. Um, yeah, I mean, to the effect that some of the stocks overlap, they would affect each other, and it's also a sentiment thing, right? So we know the initial pullback this morning in the A period, that was just absorbing the overnight activity, which was net long. And this basically battle that we've been doing here in the B period, this is the buyers attempting to keep the momentum going to the upside. And so I just don't think they've quite figured it out yet. But when you're talking about larger sentiment, all the indices will move in that direction. So if the ES starts to sell off, they will all sell off. So this still feels like resistance to me until they get those ticks back above the zero line. I'm having trouble having confidence in this now. Oh, guys. Charlie said look for support at the halfback. Missed it by a tick. Apologies if you had your order waiting there. If you did get in there, it wouldn't hurt to move your stop above break even, just in case they can't keep this trend going. But if they can, that would have been a great entry right there. All right, ticks are doing it. The buyers are stepping in. Can they finally break through this resistance? They will get me bullish if they can get above yesterday's high. Nope. Slapped right back down. So the thing about what's happening here is there's a giant tug of war happening in the market. And up here, we got lots of sellers. And down here, we got lots of buyers. And both of them seem to have uncertainty about their trades. So whichever of these directions breaks, we're likely to get a push. If we start to break lower, below the B period low, we'll probably get a bit of a shove because of all the longs that'll get liquidated there. And same thing with the shorts up here. All the shorts that have been piling on up here, if we get above yesterday's high, they're going to get a short covering rally. If I had to guess which direction, I would say like 60-40. 60% bearish, 40% bullish. It could go either way, really. But whichever way it breaks, it should get a bit of a push. Well, 1% we do it all day long. No, see, that's what I don't feel that. I don't think we're just going to rotate in here all day long. Of course, it's possible. If it were to happen, I would be willing to accept it. But I just think right now it's a battle. It's the buyers versus the sellers. And when one of them wins, the other side will have to give up. And that will get a push in the direction of the winner. But I couldn't tell you which side's going to win just yet. Okay, ticks have gotten another push up, but will they get slapped down again? Or can they stay above that zero line? $38 likes. Let's pump those likes a little bit, guys. 123 people here. Only 38 of you think I'm an okay guy. Think I'm worth a thumbs up button? We can do better. Come on, chat. Hit the like. And actually, let's just take a group opinion. Okay, the survey is out. Which way do you think this thing is going to break? Are the winners going to be the buyers or the sellers? Breaking to the upside or the downside? Let me know with your votes. Thank you guys for those likes. Appreciate you. Make your voice heard. Which way is it going to break? Man, it's like 50-50, 54% to the upside. See, what's happening in the chat is happening in the market at large. Mark, where's the sideways candidate? Well, I don't think it's going to go sideways. I mean, it might go sideways, into the C period, but by the end of the C period, it will have picked a side. Anyone else? Any last minute votes? I'm going to call this one quits. And right now it's at 50-50. It's at the chat don't know. Just like the market. All right. Well, if you want to know why the market is trading the way it is, 52% down, 47% up. People just don't know. It's the buyers competing with the sellers. Someone's going to win. Crude's moving down. Good old crude oil. Yes, sir. Bringing in volume, too. Bringing in volume. That likely has to do with the reserves, though, too, right? All these nations are releasing their reserves. To toll, yeah, window trader is what I use. Window trader blue. Douglas, wish I had bought and sold this range 20 times. I know. Uh, there's definitely some computers out there making lots of money today. Man, these ticks look bearish. I do think it's going to break to the downside. That's my vote. Cotton dog on the oil. More expected reduction in demand if countries lock down, I believe. Man, they're not really talking about countries locking down again, are they? All right, well, it's breaking to the downside, boys and girls. The sellers are winning. So they got the last bit of support in this node from the overnight. If we start to break below that A period low, I would say we're trading down into yesterday's value area, or at least down to like 46.18-ish. We'll get a bit of a push if we break that A period low. Brett, they're going to lock us down to save the environment. I don't think that'll work. People still consumed just as much in lockdown. They just had it delivered to their house. Brett, I would take a bet with you that that'll never happen. I don't know when we'd have the payout though, but I guarantee you they're never going to do that. I don't think they would do it again even for COVID. I really don't. All right, pulling the POC lower. It's a little bit bearish. If this C period breaks the initial balance to the downside, that would be very bearish. Okay, so we got the weak C period low. So that's telling us who's buying here? Short-term traders. Okay, they're trying to buy that previous candlestick low. They're weak hands. All right. Well, I'm sorry to leave you guys before a certainty one direction or another, but it does feel bearish to me. Not necessarily for the rest of the day, just to find support, just to find an area for buyers to step in. So I think this node right around, I can actually get rid of this. This node right around between 46.17 and 46.20-ish could act as support. If not, when we get down into yesterday's range, the halfback of Friday at 46.10 could act as support. Okay, they repaired that weak C period low, and there goes the squeeze. Bap, 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 going downtown, baby. Right? Remember what I was talking about? All those people who kept going long, going long, going long, going long, they all got to get out of their trades now. And with that, I shall bid you all farewell. Correct, Fausto. The market is one time framing down. And I wish you all the best for the rest of the day. If you're a member of the Brigade, I will see you in the private stream. If you're not, you should join. It's so much fun. It's only $10 a month. If literally you get one single tick on the ES, you've paid for the whole month. Come on, baby. That's a great value. All right, guys. We will see you here tomorrow morning. Thanks a lot.